help me welcome Cam to the stage. Wow, I've been lucky enough to do a few of these, and that might be the loudest applause I've ever heard.
Oh, really?
And it was warm.
It's because our matching set.
Yeah.
That's why. We knew what we were doing.
I
when we
copied
came
your
up
style
here.
a little bit.
Hey! It's a vibe. It's a full... The album was intentional, and so was this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like I said, first album in 5 years.
Yeah.
You have had some time to sit with it now. How does it feel to have it out in the world, and how did you celebrate release night?
Okay, you know what's crazy is as you grow as an artist, you release things and you listen back, and every now and then you're like, I still got a note for myself. And on this album, I have no notes. I know.
No.
And I'm not saying, I am being very honest with you. I hope you know that. I listened to it and this is everything I wanted. Wow. And that's why you haven't heard from me in 5 years maybe, because it took that. But I'm so proud of it. I'm so thrilled. I'm so deeply moved by hearing what people are feeling when they listen to it. And I feel like that's the whole point. So I feel super fulfilled.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. I have like no words for the fact that you made an album that you have no notes on. So what was the release night like?
Honestly, what was release night like? I feel like my memory as a mom is like a little bit zhuzhy. I feel like, because I think about the singles coming out. Where's Lynn's? What did we do on release night? Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, because I was thinking about the releases where I would hope I would stay up late enough with my daughter going to bed and then wake up to have Alchemy, and turns out that I'm God come out. So then the actual release night, we did this amazing, my sister-in-law does L-acoustics, which is kind of like a surround sound experience, which if you ever have a chance to sit in a room like that, it's the way we want you to experience our music, because you're just surrounded by it. And this album obviously has like a lot of layers and surprises, and it was fantastic to just sit there and let people get soothed and bombarded by what was happening. And then we all had a big champagne toast at the end of the night.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tears?
I think the tears are like a mix. Mm-hmm. It's like I keep saying I'm not crying, but then my husband will look at videos and he goes, "You were like crying." So
I cried if it makes a difference.
Aww.
Oh, like this album is very special. So I want to get into the fact, obviously a lot of life has happened for you in these last 5 years, but if you could pinpoint one change that you felt in releasing this compared to releasing The Other Side in 2020, what do you think the biggest difference is?
Didn't listen. It's my mom and dad, probably. The biggest change, I mean, I guess there's two. There's the pandemic, that which we shall not name, and then becoming a mother. I'd say both of those felt like walking to the edge of a cliff and like looking out, and they were very heavy experiences to have overlap. And I'm like a pretty existential person to begin with, and I don't really know how to like not be that. So when it comes up, I have to like stop and stare it in the face and make it make sense for me. Otherwise I get paralyzed. So both of those happening, and not sure what was happening with my career and just who my identity, like everything that happens with motherhood is insane and wonderful and horrific. So I think all of that really shook me, and it made me crave like a strong foundation. And I think that's why I really sent my little feelers that are always like in tune for what I should be writing and whatever feels right to me to sort of catch and then make into something. But it was like, this needs to be like a patchwork of beliefs that I can stand on going forward, because I need this, and now I'm about to guide this little soul, and she needs this too. So I can't really leave it unexamined. That would be I don't think that'd be fully living. So I had to do that.
Yeah, I love that phrasing, patchwork of beliefs, and it's showed up a few times, you know, in the conversation around this album for Lucy. Um, how did it change you and your process to have just a completely different purpose in making music with this album compared to anything else you've done?
It was really freeing. I think being a mom, one, you like don't. Did I hear other kids in here? Should I not swear? Are there small children? There are children. Okay, I'm gonna censor it. I know, but they repeat it, don't they? So I feel like when you're a mom, you kind of don't have any give a f's left because you're just so consumed with what you're doing. And so I think that was actually helpful because it turns out I had extra energy to burn early on. And I think I let my wheels spin a little bit about what people might need from me or what people were expecting from me or these, rules about genre and like, am I playing by those rules? Am I not playing by those rules? And all of that stuff is not that it's without merit, but that obviously what people are really craving, what I'm really craving is something that's real that comes from you and is art, and that's why I'm here doing it. So if you let that stuff get in the way in the front end of it, yeah, I think luckily it kind of got stripped away just out of sheer lack of brain space.
Yeah, totally. And that's, I think, one of the things that I love the most is this album. You can't really call it any one thing. It's a bit of pop and folk and Americana and country, and there's like a country lullaby. It does so much.
Yeah.
And that's a direct reflection of what you just said. We really hear that. Tell me about, because in addition to working on this project, you, as you do, write for other artists as well. So in those 5 years, you worked with 070 Shake and an artist named Beyonce. Yeah, pretty impressive. You had 5 songs, I believe, on Cowboy Carter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Round of applause for that. That's another album that really kind of stirred up conversation around the concept of genre, specifically in country. But how did that experience inform your own album journey with this one?
Yeah, I would say they came from the same, or my like contributions and what I was doing, it was happening at the same time. So I was sort of digging into the same wellspring when I was grabbing ideas and what the type of writer that I became in this, chapter of my life was the same one. And so it felt not that one informed the other, but it was obviously like, we're friends here, but it was a relief to have her go first. Yeah. Because I think the idea of genres, it's very hard for us to, it's so hard to think outside something that you've never really questioned, and it's been like, 100 years of recorded sound. I'm sure the GRAMMY Museum has an exhibit on it right outside. And you just think, oh, of course, this is just how it's always been. And then you start remembering like, oh yeah, like what happened 100 years ago? Oh yeah, segregation. All this was created in a segregated society, and the labels we used and the people that were allowed or not allowed and the way it was carved out for advertising, like there were a lot of reasons that were not artistic and not cultural that were part of naming these things. And the art form and the artists and the people that consume it, they don't really have anything to do with that, but the label part of it is complicated. And so it was, so wonderful to see her come out with something that was such an impactful lesson in history, and still she didn't stay in historical boxes to then tell the story. And that was like, fantastic. I still have my Vegas nails. I went and saw her in Vegas. And then, I think for me, it was just really freeing. And I've been hearing this like a lot from people in country and like my community there, like just like it feels really brave, like what you've done. And like it just, we're out here, we're doing this and we're doing it in our own way, that type of like camaraderie. And I think it's because sometimes we all need these reminders from each other that like it's there, but it's not, it's guidelines, it's not really real, and it's okay to be who you are.
It was all made up. All
Yeah,
the genre
it's all
names.
made up. I know you can kind of go into an existential free fall when everything's
Totally,
made up,
yeah.
but we are all here tonight. I promise.
That part's real.
Maybe.
When exactly do you find time to put together an album like this? Are you a night owl? Did you have to find pockets that normally when you made music before you didn't have to find?
That's a really nice question. That's very thoughtful. I'm not a night owl. I don't really like staying up late. I love sleeping. My family naps. It's a cultural thing in our family. And I also want to be present for my daughter, and she needs me and loves having all my attention. So it was definitely pockets, and it was not easy, and it wasn't always something that she loved or that I loved, in the sense that I loved making the album, but it wasn't always, you know how everyone's like, I was raised in the 90s, and we were like in San Francisco Bay Area, very idealistic, and like, you know, we're all going to be the next women president, and it's just all going to be fantastic from here on out. And then when the world doesn't meet our dream of like, you can be a super mom and you can do all the jobs and make $1 billion a year, and you're going to be a great mother, and you don't need any nannies, and blah blah blah. And it's just like, the quote, I feel like the quote is like, you can have it all but not at the same time. And that hit home for me. So it was definitely a huge learning curve, but luckily I have collaborators that I love and that understood it, and we all took the time it needed to take to make it. Yeah.
And worthwhile, because like you said, no notes.
Yeah.
Going back to this concept of like a patchwork of beliefs for Lucy, is because when I listen to this, there are so many. Each time I listen, I discover a new message that I feel like I needed, and especially as a young girl would have loved to have. Do you feel like you had an album that maybe was your patchwork of beliefs that raised you a bit as a kid?
Ooh. I think I've realized this recently. Everyone in my family at one point or another told me, oh, listen to the lyrics here. Or like, oh, listen to this, what happens right here. Like, I remember, they don't remember it necessarily like happening to me, but I remember it like with my grandparents and my parents. And I remember really watching how they lit up, and how music to me felt like something that made my favorite people even more shiny and bright and wonderful and more themselves. And so I kind of lived in that, I would say, in everybody else's music until, which maybe this is normal, probably like the first year of high school. And then I discovered the Indigo Girls. And it is a little bit of a giggle because they're not quite my generation, but somebody had played Ghost for me, and I was like, oh, like these harmonies, and they're just being so raw and real, and they're talking about existential things and religious themes, and I was like, oh my God, I felt like an unlock of like, this is me, or this could be me. And yeah, it's so wild. And then I moved to the South, and like, I feel like I even understand them slightly more at this point. And now I know them too, which just blows my mind. So yeah, probably the Indigo Girls retrospective album blew my mind.
What was meeting them like?
Insane, because when I was younger, we went to the Greek Theater in Berkeley, and my mom, we saw them. Do you remember this, Mom? I feel like, how can I see you? You're somewhere around here. I'm trying to lock into you. Yes. Oh, there you are with a cute bird on. Okay. So do you remember this? They were like walking by. I don't know where the security was. They were just walking by in the parking lot. And my mom goes, oh, you should tell them what they mean to you. And I go, not like this. So then I met Emily. She loved Burning House, and we wrote together. We became friends, and they invited me at the Ryman one time to show up and kind of open for them and sing a song with them. And we were on stage, and I told that story, and I said, so I want you to know, like this, on stage, what you mean to me. And yeah, so that was a full circle moment. I got to tell them.
I love that you knew. You were like, not like this, there will be a better time.
I didn't know for sure, but it was worth a shot.
You felt it.
Yeah.
You mentioned just now, spirituality a bit, and also harmony. And so both of those things are very present on the opening track of this album, which is my favorite. Turns out that I am God. That song I truly cannot stop listening to. It's just like on loop all day long. Um, I'm curious to know, given that title, was there a singular moment that made you realize that or made you feel that fully?
That I'm
That
God.
you are God.
I think it's maybe more akin to that thing you were saying. You feel like you're hearing these things that you would have loved to have heard when you were younger. And I remember however that title showed up in my life, I was like, I need to hear that now. And I needed to hear that back then. And I want to hear that for the rest of my life. And I need to find a way to make it. Then I just take so much care. We did that song so many times. Ty's coming up. He'll maybe explain that too. But I needed the vehicle for this song to be correct because so I liken it to, you remember that Indiana Jones where there was like the cup where you drink from and you get eternal life? Okay. Right? We all know the song. And so they go in and they've gotten past all the booby traps and there's Nazis because why not? And the great bad guy. And they go, I think, the cup is going to be this golden goblet with all these bejeweled, very much like my nails. And, he grabs it and he sips in. Of course, he's like dies, the horrific skeleton death. And then Indiana Jones, our hero, knows, of course, it needs to be this humble carpenter cup. And he finds this cup that's so not showy. And that's what I wanted to make sure I was giving people and myself this permission to acknowledge yourself, like all of you, the ugly parts, the bad parts, the part you hate, the part you forgot about. Everything in you is divine. And I wanted you to hear that not in like a braggadocious way or a Nazi bejeweled goblet way, but in a humble cup kind of way.
You've nailed it. I mean, there are so many different meanings. Like I said, every time I listen, I kind of discover a new one, which I think is really special. Yeah. There is another line in that song that I'm so obsessed with. You talk about how you've found a paradise in your mind. Asking for myself, how do you do that?
Yeah.
What's the key?
Yes. Okay, so to me, this is when I was probably 20, I read The Power of Now. And I meditated it's on your night table. You got to read it. Okay. So that was the first time I ever meditated and I shut my mind off. So our minds are the like extra narrator, or like ticker tape that's going at all times. And if you can turn it off, in my experience, all of a sudden I was like flooded with this warmth and this peace that is in me at all times. And I knew it, and I knew it was in everything and everyone. And I was like, what? What? That is crazy. And like, to me, that's what I mean, that it like, this exists. And you see like on the cover too, there's like this light that comes through my face and eclipses my own face. Because that's my light. That's like the hum that's in me and it's in you. And maybe it's not just about me, Cameron Marvel Oaks, telling you this. Maybe it's about like you see yourself in this, and your light is in this too.
Yes, I love this album art. It's so stunning. And that's sort of my take is like every time I look at it, I'm like, are you emitting the light or are you reflecting the light?
Ooh.
And I think it goes both ways.
Yes, I like the reflect. That's good.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about the album art and then how it perfectly ties into the title and the theme of this album.
Yeah. We flew out to Milan to do this, which was like, say less, I'll be there. And it was fantastic. And we just got to create, Lindsay Marius and I, who's like my co-creative brand manager, co-imaginer, we just were like, we've been saving things on like Pinterest for years and just got to this moment of like, can we make this feel like a story and can we make this feel grounded? Because I don't want to give something it's not answers that I'm giving, because anyone with all the answers, you should run immediately. When they say they know the answers, that is what Kill the Guru is definitely about. But something that feels like it's been passed down. There's like an oldness to it when you look at these photos. And I feel like it gives it this credence of like, oh yeah, we've shared this a bit. It's sort of been passed down, and you can believe me a little bit more if you didn't want to believe me before. And yeah, All Things Light. I mean, it's kind of a wink. It's from a line from Turns Out That I'm God. Obviously, these are not light songs. Sorry to ruin for you if you haven't listened to the album. But also, I hadn't realized this until after we named the album. We'd done all the album our artwork. Lucy's name actually means light. My daughter's name means light. And yeah.
That's crazy. You didn't realize that until
I know.
after.
It's like a one-trick pony, I guess. I'm just got the one thing. I couldn't believe, but I feel like that's what when your subconscious is working for you, you know, you're choosing things and you don't even realize why you're choosing them, and that's why.
Do you think she has a favorite song on the album?
Yeah, she tells me, and she switches back and forth. I actually heard her singing Guru to herself on the plane on the way here. I know. And then she loves alchemy and she loves God, and I think me as myself, I love watching her sing God, because think of all I was singing, I don't know what I was singing when I was like 5, but yeah, not a song like that. And she doesn't quite know what it means, because she'll ask me, she's like, what is God? And I'm just like, the magic in everything, you know, kind of like that. And then we'll watch Paddington 2, and she's like, what's a nun? And I'm just like, somebody that's devoted themselves to the magic in everything. I don't know. So I think she's in for like, at some point, probably in adolescence, she'll be very tired of the depth of all this. But right now, she loves singing it. So
that has to be the coolest feeling, to just hear her singing these lyrics.
It is.
Yeah.
It honestly is, because I feel like you never know what's sticking in there. Mm-hmm. Like every now and then she'll ask that. Like she asked what death was when one of her favorite chicken died. We had backyard chickens, and if you have chickens, you know this. They are going to die a horrible death. It's, oh, the kids, I'm so sorry.
Well, now they know.
At some point, they take a nap. And Lucy was like, what does this mean? And I was like, well, our bodies get still and our light goes back up to the stars. Because I've told her that we were in the stars before, and we decided together we'd come here, and then we're going back to the stars. And I can't tell if it's magical or detrimental or anything, but I'm giving it my best shot, you know, at making it magical and real for her. And yeah, it does. I'd say it really makes me value what it meant for my parents to raise us, because my sister and I grew up with the absolute best childhood. Like, best friends. My parents have the most imagination possible, so we lived like the idyllic childhood. And I'm sure now, being a mom, I realize you guys were probably so stressed out. And it was probably so hard, but we didn't know any of it. So it's, yeah, it makes me hope that Lucy's completely oblivious as long as possible.
She's asking all the right questions so far.
Yeah.
I do want to get a bit more into the songwriting. So I did tease we have Tyler Johnson here. Yeah. So we're going to bring him on up, if you don't mind. Woo-hoo. Yes, round of applause for Tyler. Thank you. We'll bring it up a chair. So you and Tyler have worked together for a decade? Longer?
We met in Los Feliz, just down the road, in 2000. And are you good at this part?
Yeah, sure.
2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
He was roommates with a guy I dated, and he was like, do you know how to do country songs? I was like, yeah, I do. And we made some pretty good sounding things for an apartment.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, one of those was Burning House.
Yes.
You two made that song together. Yes. Yeah. Which, believe it or not, is celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year.
I know.
Nuts.
Yes, nuts. We didn't make that in an apartment, for what it's worth. That was in a legit studio.
We'd moved on at that point.
It's true. I'm glad you're like clarifying.
Yeah.
Just getting all the details right. Over the span of those 10 years, where's the craziest place you've heard that song play? Just out in life.
I think for me the craziest is just when like random friends are like, some dude in like a random place in Florida is singing Burning House, and I'm like,
Yeah, doing like karaoke or something.
sick.
The reach.
Yeah, I had a friend send me a video of her friend. I feel like they were on a yacht in like this middle of nowhere, like Keys, and everybody was just that perfect part of the night where you're just so wasted and you're so tired and you should go to bed, but really no one's going to bed, and they're like, I've been sleepwalking. And it was just like, yes, I want to be there so bad.
After that, you have to go to bed. I
Yes,
think.
yeah.
That's where you end it.
Yes.
When I mean, do you hear that song still often? Like, do you ever seek it out yourselves? Do you play it?
I mean, I played at shows, so I'm
Well, yeah,
around it
so
all the
you
time.
are. Do you ever put it on?
I haven't for
Time.
I haven't, but
But I can tell you it holds up.
yeah, I have had to play it, and yeah, you kind of want to check in on your old stuff, and you know very quickly if it holds up or not.
Yes.
So that one's doing all right, I think.
I've met some people who they were like, you want to make sure if you're lucky enough to get a big hit, it's not something you hate playing every night, because you meet people and they hate playing their big hit every night.
Yeah.
And I do not hate it. I absolutely love that song, and I love what it means to everybody and what they tell me it means, and I feel so thankful
Yeah.
that it's not something else. Yeah.
It's a good one. I think that song has a lot of magic in it. I'm curious, working on this album, I'll ask you first, Tyler. Can you think of a moment that felt the most magical in working on this album? Something that stands out?
It's a really good question. That would have been a nice
Prep.
prep.
We could have Cam answer first if you want.
Okay, you have described what this album felt like making, though.
Well, it's what's nice about I might have a little bit of a long-winded answer to the question, because for me making the album with Cam, what it was and what it wasn't was a little bit actually hard to fully like parse out for a long time, due to the fact that she was writing also for another artist, and that other artist was excited about certain things, and what she was kind of bringing to the table was so often like this really high quality, of course. Why not like her highest quality stuff? So, but it had this new texture and this new layer to it that I hadn't heard on the previous two albums, or it was just more refined, or it was like she was being given permission to go there. And so I think the most magical part of actually for me making this album was probably, if you consider us like kind of jamming around on American Requiem, to me it's not making part of this journey in working with Cam, because that for me was really a magical moment, because I always feel like for Cam and I there has to be like a good percentage of the pie that's like kind of apathetic if it's going to be good. Like we both have to walk out being like, it's kind of nothing, right? In order for it to, which was what kind of happened with Burning House. It was like we were like, I don't know. Yeah. And it's normally like someone's like Lindsay often, who is Cam's manager and my wife, it was like, whoa, this is so good. And I'm like, like for who? For what?
We kind of joke everything we do is just for Lindsay. Like yeah, Lindsay's totally. Lindsay's response really is a filter for everything that happens.
So for me, I would say that was a really exciting moment to then hear Cam get the like, hey, this like, you know, this lyrical idea and maybe some of these melodies are really great, and start to get like that encouragement. So I would say that was probably like a magical moment, just because it felt like something new and something really special that I wasn't familiar with. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one that stands out?
I feel like we had the best time making this when we got into East West, But I think probably one of the most, well, when you sent me God with Ethan's guitars on it, I was like, oh shit. I do it every time. And then also, even before we went in, I remember you were sending me stuff that you had been working on. And I was like, wow. Like, it's hard to really understand. You know, when you see someone all the time, so you don't notice them growing, like you don't physically see them changing, and then someone else goes, wow, that person really changed. And I'm like, oh, I didn't notice. And I kind of feel that way where like Ty and I spent a little bit of time apart. And then all of a sudden, like he was sending me some stuff and I was like, like, not that you weren't good, but I was like, whoa, Ty is like really, really good. Like, what you're making is so cool, and I just want to be a part of it. And it's so fun to feel that way about, like, how we said we've been working together for like 12 years or however many years at this point. And to feel that way about somebody we see each other all the time, you know, like we talk and we work together all the time, how magical to be like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm good enough to work with Ty today. You know, like my old friend, like that's a crazy thing to still feel.
No, the value of like kind of hitting our stride was really like enjoyable on this album. It was like, and it was a first time that it was just a new setup, and we were a little bit like, all right, let's just do it. A little bit of that like fuck it energy. Like let's just go with choices, because there's like something that I didn't even notice while we were making the album, but there's like all these songs that are like they're like half a song, and they're like all in a row, and I'm like sitting there when the album's done, I'm like, well, there's like no bridge in third chorus on like 5 songs in a row, and I was kind of like, that's something that I should have noticed. And the reason that I didn't notice it was a little bit of the, like Cam and I were just like, let's just get in here, let's just enjoy like and just strive for like the most cutting and sharp edges to everything, and minimize production, like not too many bells and whistles if possible, and the songs have to be great. And then and I think that felt like something that was hard earned for us. Like it was 10, 15 years in the making to be able to trust each other enough to be like, okay, let's refine this and keep it narrow and focused from what we're listening to, what we're letting in, who we're like, you know, and like, for instance, she's mentioned a lot about how we did a lot of versions of God, and that kind of just came from like, it didn't feel done yet. Nobody was like, actually Katie Welly is here, I believe. She like loved the first version. She's like, a piano version, like, and it was just beautiful. And it was, for some reason, Cam didn't like it. So then we had like 4 other ones, and not to like ramble on about the process of like doing a lot of versions, but it was like, it wasn't because somebody was saying this isn't right. Like it wasn't because we weren't getting the response we wanted. It's just because Cam was like, I don't really feel it. And I was like, well, I mean, it's fun to just see where this goes. And that was like enjoyable. It didn't feel like work. So that really, I don't know, that kind of feels like that making the album for me.
Do you think that song took the longest to finish of all of them on the album?
Probably.
There's always like a song that you're like, God damn.
Yeah.
And that was that one.
That was that one. Which one took the fastest or came together the easiest?
Everblue?
Hallelujah and Everblue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hallelujah came
Yeah,
together
Hallelujah.
really. I tried other stuff on it, but it literally sounds kind of the same.
It was so funny. I was like, I don't have a lot of time. I got to get home. And so we just did the first part, and then Taz like, I got an idea, whatever, I'll finish it up. I was like, great. And then you sent me a bounce, and I was like, he was like, make sure you have your headphones in, and you're like really listening. I was like, oh, okay. And that ending is in there, and I was like, what? So then that was it. That was crazy.
No reaction on your face.
He's processing, I think.
Yeah, no, it was that one was really fast, but yes, I mean, for the most part, a lot of the record came together quickly, but then yeah, you can just get hung up on trying new things. I should probably get better at that and just
letting it go.
No,
now that I'm
please
sitting
keep
here.
trying new things. Of the two of you, who would you say is the one who's like, time to move on?
Ty. Maybe. With vocals, I'll get really picky, and Ty will be like, it sounds great.
Yeah, I'm lazy. I'm really lazy with vocals. I will work with somebody if they will just be like, I can cut my own vocals. I'm like, I don't love your music, but I'll take it.
Something else you've earned over, decades. This is sort of corny, but you two have known each other for so long and worked together so long. You've seen various versions of one another. As you are today, what's your favorite thing about the other person?
I'll go first. I feel like I said this at your birthday when we celebrated your birthday in East West, is that for as long as I've known Ty, obviously know you. Like, I know we keep it real country. Like, his wife is my manager. My husband is one of his best friends. We know each other. We've had fights. We've, all the things. But I still feel like when I offer something up to him, if it's like an idea we're about to talk about or it's a musical idea, I am never fully sure what he's going to say. Like, I actually can't tell you. And then he'll say it back, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, it's just, I think we complement each other really well in that way, that we don't actually, whatever gears are on our insides don't fully match, and it's for the best because we get to sort of like bounce off each other. So I really love that whatever I say to him, whatever I serve up, because I'm having a fun time about to get whatever reaction, I never could tell you. I could never fully bet on what's going to come back at me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'd say with you, it's probably like you have pretty good comedic timing, and I'm a sucker for that. Like, just like a nice, well-placed, like, So that's probably it for me.
That's important after like a long day.
And when you get Ty laughing, he really laughs. It's really fun.
At risk of starting drama, I'm really curious now. Was there like a major disagreement in the process of making this album?
No, not on this one.
Not on this
Not
one.
on this one.
No.
Not on this one.
You're like thinking of one.
Yeah.
What was the one?
But I mean,
don't do that, Ty.
To make it like really like just like the shiny side of it, it was just like mix, and we were like discussing whether or not to speed up or slow down till there's nothing left to listen to. I got really upset. It's a really bad time.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And
I was pregnant. It was not a good time to be
and
bringing that up to me. Yeah.
But I think that out of that, like, there was like a lot of like distance that was then kind of like, all right, we need to reassess the relationship.
Yes, boundaries.
And then it was like, we were like, all right, let's get back together and write. And that's when we wrote American Requiem. Was our first day since like.
No,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. You held on to that one.
I did help.
Damn.
So it was like still kind of part of the like, I feel like you and I are like, I think we just said this, like, you're like my brother.
Yeah.
Instead of my sister. There's like a little bit of that, like, you kind of bring like I can take it energy to the conversation.
Yes.
But yeah, so.
It's amazing. This will be the last time I put you on the spot, Tyler. But because of what we've talked about, like your purpose and intention was different on this album, and I think it's some of your best writing as a result. Do you then, as a collaborator of so long, have a lyric on this album where you're just like blown away by, or a personal favorite that stands out to you?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's funny because you had me like prep this back, and it was just like off the top of my head, but it's actually a lyric that Cam didn't write but just wrote the melody to, which is, if you want someone's shoulder, I've got two. That's probably just because I'm like, why would somebody like it? I just love that lyric. It's just so like kind of left-footed, but in the best way. Yeah. But Call It a Miracle, I'll Call It Alchemy is pretty undefeated to me. It's just like nicely packaged, has a rhyme to it. It probably wasn't something that 40 other people wrote that day. And it really helps, I think, explain the whole album and like explain where Cam's head was at when she was writing a lot of this stuff. So I love that lyric.
And then I need to ask you before we take some audience questions. You said in a recent interview that you were still working away at new music already. The face. Is there anything?
Like, did I admit that?
You did say that on record. Is there anything you wanted to share on that end?
Everyone's been really clear that I can't take 5 years. So,
but look what we got as a result.
I know. I will say I do feel like I personally feel like I am so proud of this album, and I reached a spot, and I think Ty feels this way too, like skill level. Now I feel like I can execute some of the things that maybe you dream of it before, but you can't quite put it how you want. And so I do feel like the possibility for saying exactly what I want to say can happen faster. But the label's in the room, so no promises. But I'm gonna try my hardest. But I feel like it's been so fun to put this together that why not make something like this, you know?
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you both. If you don't mind both chilling up here while we take some audience questions.
Yeah. Ooh,
lights on.
Yay.
If you just want to raise your hand, yes, we'll start with you.
I'm curious if there was any reconciliation on maybe the conflicting issues or conflicting feelings on wanting to make something very intimate just for your child.
Yeah.
And then sharing that same product with everybody.
Yeah. I think it was, in my mind, reconciled after. And I think in the process, it was really feeling oriented when I write things. And when we're like, I mean, obviously you train your ear, and like I have somebody like Ty who has an incredible ear to know when something's finished or ready or not. But I really listen with my stomach. There's a brain in there, I guess. There's like a gut brain. And I actually have to feel like it's right. And so that is like my box I have to check off, for better or for worse. And this time I really only listened to that. I never said, oh, someone else thinks differently, I should let them have this one. I didn't. I had to make sure whatever their idea was, I also liked it this whole time. Are you laughing?
I'm not laughing.
Okay, good.
Great answer.
Yeah. Yes, you right there.
This is a question as songwriters. What is the song in the past, let's say 2 years, that you wish you had written?
Ooh. In the past 2 years.
Maybe go 5.
Ty, this is you.
Oh, it's so much easier when you have like 2
All the years.
minutes to think.
I'll tell you the one that is
It's
my...
like, I don't remember a single song.
Exactly, see? People said, they're always like, you got to know other people's music. I know other people's music, but when you ask, like our entire library of thought rushes to the front of the room. But I will say the thing that I wish I had wrote was Randy Newman had this song where his brother was a doctor, and this kid who was in college came in and had a terminal illness. And the parents had lost people in the Holocaust, and they said to the doctor, we had time to recover. But now our son, our grown son, is about to die, and we don't know how we're going to recover from this. We don't have enough time. And Randy Newman turned that into a song, and it's, when you're young and there's time, you forget the past. You don't think that you will, but you do. Now I know that there ain't time enough, and I'll never get over losing you. And I should have written that. Someday.
Like Birds of a Feather, I think.
Well played. Yes.
I will say, Tyler, you've been involved in like most of everyone's favorite songs over the last
Yeah.
several years. I think that's worth shouting out as well. It's just amazing what you have done.
Thanks.
Yes.
I don't know if that's fully true, but
Yes, it is.
yeah, thank you.
I'll say that. Yes, question right there.
First, I just have to say congrats on Cowboy Carter. I feel like I knew you were in the song before I knew you were in the songs, and I swear I felt I heard your voice just coming through. And so when I actually looked, I was like, oh my God, she did! Like I was saying. Second, I didn't realize I walked up with your parents. I hope it was nice.
I'll hear about it later if you learn.
We were looking for this place together, so I feel so special. But I just have to first say thank you for this album. It's a breath of fresh air, I think, of a lot of things that have come out. And I cried the first time I heard Ever Blue. I think it spoke to me that moment you're like, oh, this is what I've been feeling, but somebody put it into words for me. Which I feel with your whole album, I keep calling it this beautiful angelic masterpiece that I think we're so lucky to have. And I know that, with this long break that we had, which was, yes, worth the wait, but I know, I loved you from the beginning. I saw you many years ago in San Francisco before The Other Side came out.
And where did you see me?
Oh, it was a little bar. You were in I remember an all yellow velour outfit. Oh, stop.
Cafe du Nord.
Yeah.
I think is what it was.
Yes.
Sick.
And I remember crying at the show because you had debuted Forgetting You for the first time. And I remember telling my sister, you have no idea what's coming. But anyway, so I know that there was a period of time for you when you were struggling with the record label that you were with, and Girl Like Me came out of that, which is also one of my favorite songs of yours, which I took in a different way, it speaks to me in a different way. And looking back at your other albums, I know that this album you felt you were authentic in what you wanted to say. Do you feel those songs were still authentic since you wrote them, or do you feel there was one that was most authentic, looking at who you are now? Is there one, besides Burning House, which my go-to karaoke song, but that you still feel is as authentic to you, even though you were obviously in a different period of time?
Yeah, no, I love this question because
I feel like, how time tends to just reframe your life, and you're like, oh, now this is the plot line, I guess. And to me, when we look back at Village and Cold in California, we're I feel like those are still and not that I love all of them, and they all were me, and I was doing the best I could, at any given moment. I was not holding back, and even though there was one person I very much disliked at an old label, my label now is incredible, and I genuinely mean that. They've been with me this whole time. They believe in me. But I have had people I didn't like, but no one ever made me make something. We've actually been, I feel really lucky in, every now and then somebody thinks they're sassy and sends a little, some idea. But I would say we've been able to make what I've wanted to make, and I still love all those songs. They still feel like me. Even though Country Ain't Never Been Pretty, you're maybe that's not 100% the same as this, but I mean that. I love that about country music, and that's what I think people connect with country music. It's not about being, perfect and flashy and having blonde hair and the perfect, rack or whatever. It's most country women are their nails are not done and they look like crap and they're getting stuff done. And they love that song, and I love what that means. And so I feel they're all pieces of me, but there is something about now hearing this album, and it might change later, but now looking back, I feel oh yeah, Village and Cold in California. Is there any other one? Somehow those two feel they were almost little album. Yeah, and maybe Forgetting You. They all feel little breadcrumbs or something. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. We have time for one more question. Your hand went up first in the hat.
I don't so much have a question, but I think I'm your longest fan.
Oh, my parents are here, so it's impossible.
I first saw you on a rainy day in Nashville at CMA Fest.
Oh, at a tent.
You're giving away, you're giving away Fireball swag, and you sang Fireball song.
Yes. They didn't show up with the money in the end, so I love that. Aww.
So it's just been, I just wanted to tell you that.
I love that. Oh my gosh, thank you. Okay, wait, I have to tell you, I was so nervous for Turns Out That I Am God, and I remember being very nervous. I have a friend who is a pastor here as well, and I have a friend who's a rabbi here. And I remember being so nervous. One of my oldest friends who started an a cappella group with me, this is my friend, Rabbi Jacqueline, and I sent it to her, and she was like, you're just searching for meaning like all of us. I don't know why you always think someone in organized religion is going to be like, you didn't quite say it right, But obviously not Jacqueline. And I feel can we just make room to say what you wanted to say?
Oh,
Sure. So much pressure. My question is about harmonies.
Oh.
As someone who has sang with you years ago, and we created harmonies together, your ability to hear harmony and envision harmonies between people has just grown by leaps and bounds. It is so extraordinary. You can hear it on Cowboy Carter. You can hear it on your album. And I guess my question for you is, like, how has that specific process, that collaborative process of singing in harmony with others, like, how has that evolved for you as a musician, as a mom, all those things?
Oh my God, I love how poetic would be if I really was singing in harmony with other people, but mostly I'm singing in harmony with myself. Because I feel like it possibly came from this, maybe poetically, it came from the shared reality with my sister and thinking everything is a collaborative experience. And then it came from those children choirs and that I was in. I sang in like 14 languages by the time I hit the end of high school. And then we started a cappella groups. And I think I also always thought that my voice wasn't good enough by itself. And I should layer it. and I loved how it sounded. I loved masses, I loved requiems, I loved how incredibly powerful it was to hear people sing together. And it turns out, like science will tell you, all our heartbeats align when we sing together. Like we're meant to be doing, oh my gosh, you're here, hi. So we're meant to be doing this together. And it just, I do feel like sometimes I maybe underappreciate what that is. So thanks for saying that out loud, because it is kind of a weird, not a weird skill, but like, who does that all the time? I'm like, it's not done. Let me do 8 other layers. And then I go too far and then we like mute some. Because it usually is like, I just go too hard on the harmonies. But I do think it's evolved just because my little ear is obsessed with them. I can't get enough of it.
Tyler, what's your take on the harmonies?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I love Cam's harmonies. They're amazing. And harmonies is great. And yeah, she'll get in there and like start singing. And it's probably when she works the hardest in the studio, because she can have a tendency to be a little bit like, come on, Cam, more than one take. And then she'll get in there and you can just see her like laser focus when it's harmony time, which I love that. Yeah, I mean, definitely stripping it back and making sure there's not too much is always like so important. But yeah, it's a good part about working with you is you're so good at harmonies. It's kind of a core part of the sound.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for the questions. I'm sorry for the ones we didn't get to, but we have a performance that we need to fit in now. So if everyone, yes, round of applause. If everyone can please stay seated, we're just going to quickly reset the stage and then bring Cam back up. That would be greatly appreciated. But thank you all so much.